Welcome back to Blind Item Breakdown. We've got some crazy blind items to go through today, and I want to kick off this episode by talking about Jay-Z. Because if Beyonce doesn't file for divorce immediately, then she can kiss her career goodbye. This blind item reads, one thing that the files has confirmed is that the permanent A-list rapper has always been the fixer for the rich elite bankers and owners. And yet, they don't really do anything for him. For years, he has wanted to be an owner or a partial owner of a pro team, and they won't let him. One person said that this is definitely about Jay-Z. He does not own a team. He does have control over the halftime shows, but he does not own a team, which is interesting because the NFL actually recently unfollowed Jay-Z because they don't want any association with him because of these Epstein files. There's a lot of people who are getting wrapped up into these files because more than 3 million pages of the documents related to Epstein had been released, which is crazy. Like 3 million documents on this guy. It just shows you how many people protected Jeffrey Epstein, and it seems like this blind item is alluding to Jay-Z as being one of these enablers and protectors. I mean, we know what kind of relationship he had with Diddy, and now I'm not too surprised to see that he's friendly with Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein. Like, what is Beyonce going to do? Her own mother has already unfollowed Jay-Z, Rihanna has unfollowed Jay-Z, and it looks like there was a tip given to the FBI in July 2019. An anonymous caller claimed that she was drugged, then taken to Epstein's mansion in Florida, where she woke up and saw Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z. Of course, I can't go through what this anonymous caller had said, but let's just say that, like, Harvey had done some things and Jay-Z was a witness. Either way, really concerning behavior coming from Jay-Z. He does have a really crazy legal team, and there hasn't been any criminal charges filed against him. I mean, I don't know if they're necessarily, like, there was a lot of it redacted, even though Jay-Z's name was still there. It seems like this woman was assaulted, but it may have been more at the hands of Harvey Weinstein. Either way, Jay-Z is like an accomplice here, and it's just a little bit of like truth to the darkness behind his past. Like, I'll never forget about Allie Carter. She's been an outspoken victim of Diddy and Jay-Z's, and she's made a lot of claims about them and the type of parties that they would have.
A lot's about to come out. Another arrest is coming again. Watch for those fires. Explosions make fires too. Explosions make accidental fires too. And then, oops, we don't know how that happened. And then you look into it and you see that it's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to trafficking. And then you realize, oh, it wasn't just an explosion or a fire. It wasn't an accident. Some people are saying that I was in the Run This Town video with Jay-Z in 2009. So as far as that picture on the Run This Town video, I honestly do not know. Because 2009, there's a lot that happened.
So now Beyonce is starting to feel the heat of her husband's behavior. She lost 10 million followers on Instagram, which is a lot of money. That's a lot of coin just walking out the door. People who would buy her merch, people who would view her ads, who would go to her concerts.
Y'all thought the downfall of Diddy was something. The downfall of Jay-Z is going to be something. Jay-Z is working overtime right now to make sure his empire won't crumble apart. Because we're not going to act like he wasn't named in the Epstein files. Hello? As soon as he was naming the Epstein files, they're going to take all the posts down and everything. He probably seen it and made some calls. Was like, nah, get that shit removed right now. Sending mad bread out. Sending mad money out. Like, whatever is done in the dark will come to the light. He ain't gonna be able to hide this. He ain't gonna be able to just sweep this under the rug for too long. It's bound to happen, bro. It's bound to happen. I just want to know what Beyonce gonna do when all of this shit come to light. Like, is you finna stick by this man's side, or is you leaving? Or are you an accomplice?
It's interesting that Jay-Z's personal Instagram lost about 100,000 followers. So why did Beyonce lose so much more?
One of this decade's most talked about controversies has found its way into hip-hop after released documents of the Epstein files will make mention of both Jay-Z and fellow rapper Pusha T over the weekend. Now, rap mogul and tycoon Jay-Z has found himself attached to the recent chatter about the files after he would be specifically mentioned through a report made by an anonymous person. The report made in 2019 would be included into the files for further investigation. It goes on to read, in approximately 1996, Blank resided with Blank in Blank. An unknown man abducted Blank from her home, whence she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter. While Weinstein had inserted his fingers into Blank, Blank believed she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida. Blank estimated she was abducted on 7 occasions, awaking each time in an opulent indoor setting. Blank suffered from sex abuse on multiple of those occasions in which Epstein participated. Blank recalled Leon Black and William Barr, current United States Attorney General, being present during some of the occasions of abuse. In approximately 2006, Blank last recalled being abused by Epstein.
One thing I've learned is staying consistent is way harder than starting off strong. Anyone can eat well for a few days, but sticking to it week after week is where it gets hard. But that is where Factor has genuinely helped me. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals straight to your door, ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Like, look how good this pepper fondue shredded chicken is with cilantro, tomato, rice, and zucchini, and I love that it's 35 grams of protein. But the best part of that meal and Factor is that there's no planning, there's no cooking, there's no cleanup involved. And what also really stands out to me is how much variety there is. You are choosing from over 100 rotating weekly options. This week, I got to try the maple gravy chicken. It was so good, and it reminds me of the food I'd eat back home in Virginia. I also appreciate how most meals deliver 30 grams or more of complete protein, with some going up to 53 grams. You can also choose plans that fit your lifestyle, like high protein, calorie smart, GLP-1 support, low carb, and more. Head to factor75.com or click the link in my description below and use my code SloanFB50 to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That is code SloanFB50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Thank you, Factor, for sponsoring this video, and enjoy. Our next blind item is about Zac Efron. It reads, for years, the former High School Musical star has got away with hanging around bad people and drug use and situations that would have gotten others canceled. Instead, he has just skated by. It is very interesting his name got brought up in court in connection to those very bad brothers. And we're talking about Tal and Oren Alexander. What is it with Zac Efron? His connection to yachting and that world? It also seems like he could be an alleged professional escort himself, because I've talked about his yachting past and how there is this man who has had a lot of money and a lot of control over Zac, and Zac always ends up with these bizarre injuries. He almost died at one point in a swimming pool, and it always seems to be in the presence of this man, allegedly. I'm not trying to get myself sued or get on the list of that guy. That's what I'm trying to say. One person wrote, to be fair, Zac has been abused by male predators who are still free and prominent. He has a lot of trauma going on. No excuses can be made for actually committing crimes, but falling into bad company isn't a crime itself. Like he didn't know what's going on, one person writes. Zac Efron, I always thought he was a decent guy. Zac Efron recently had his name in the headlines, but not for any good reason, because his name was brought up in a trafficking trial against these Alexander brothers. The victim is testifying under the pseudonym Katie Moore, and Katie claims that there was this 2012 party that was held in an apartment in association with Zac Efron. Katie claims that after the party, she went back to the Alexander's brothers' home. Actually, there's a third brother named Alon who escorted her, but she claims when she got there, she was SA'd, claiming that she clearly said that she did not want to participate in anything with any of these brothers, but she was, I guess she was harmed. They did not, clearly they did not listen to her, and they ended up attacking her, which is why they're on trial. Now, the witness claims that she had minimal interaction with Zac Efron and that he did not do anything wrong in this situation. He's not been charged. He's not even named as a defendant, but he is in this testimony, and it's kind of weird that he just always finds himself, and every year, there's always something sketchy on the side that Zac's involved in.
Zac Efron's name came up in New York City, and not in a way that I'm sure he's pleased about, but there's a trial going on right now. The Alexander brothers, they're realtors. Well, they are accused of doing some really awful things to some women, but what has come up in the trial, what a witness testified to, was that the brothers essentially dangled Zac's name as bait to get them to hang out with him, because they apparently know Zac, and they would say, at least one victim testified, that when they met, they're out at a restaurant or something, and they said, hey, do you want to come back with us to our friend Zac Efron's
Essentially,
house?
you're going to meet Zac.
Right.
Now, we should make it clear. Zac Efron is not
anything.
accused of anything untoward in this case.
Right.
But they're using him kind of as bait.
That they went back to Zac's place. They did actually meet Zac, but again, he's not accused of anything. Clearly, according to this witness, these guys knew what they were doing when they said, oh, we know Zac Efron.
This is some heavy gossip here. Our next blind item is about Harry Styles and Billie Eilish getting into it. The foreign-born former boy bander was being super rude to the Oscar winner to the point where people had to intervene. Now that already pisses me off because I do like Billie Eilish and I can't imagine like a guy getting in her face or getting so rude to the point where people had to go and stop them. That also doesn't seem like Harry Styles' behavior, but also he's been away for some time. Maybe some things have changed. I mean, his music has definitely changed. One person says that Billie probably said that his new song sucks. One person says, ew, I can't pick a side here. If it's Billie and Harry, I loathe them both. Me too, but I'd pick him over her anytime. Another person asked, I thought that Harry and Billie were friends. Maybe they're after the same guy, one person wrote. Let's not get homophobic over here. I'm pretty sure that Harry Styles is in a relationship with Zoe Kravitz, so that is what's currently on record. One person said Harry Styles, the one who spit on Chris Pines, seems like a jerk, which I will never buy the excuse from Chris Pines that Harry did not spit on him in that moment. Just looking at his reaction, you could tell that that's what happened there. But I think the question that everyone's asking is why?
Simple yes or no, Mr. Pine. Please explain. Did Harry spit on me? Harry did not spit on me. Harry's a very, very kind guy. And it does look indeed like Harry spitting on me. He didn't spit on me. I think what he said is he leaned down and I think he said, it's just words, isn't it? Because we had this little joke, because we're all jet lagged, we're all trying to answer these questions, and sometimes when you're doing these press things, your brain goes befuddled and, you know, you start speaking gibberish, and we had a joke, but it's just words, man.
I don't know what I would do if Harry Styles spit on me. I'd probably have the same reaction as Chris there, but this headline says that Harry and Billie had this blowout that required intervention from bystanders. Now, of course, this is all stemming from a blind item, and our friend Celebrity Blind on TikTok is the source of this recent viral moment. We don't really have much evidence supporting this otherwise. There were moments from the Grammys where some people were convinced that Billie and Harry Styles were really not in favor of each other, that like Harry was showing his real face in these moments. But honestly, Billie Eilish has been such a likable like celebrity amongst the stars. So many people are friends with her, but it is interesting like Harry's relationship with her. I had to go and look into like their past to try to understand like, could this be true? And there is this weird clip where Harry speaks about Billie and he's kind of like saying nice things, but he's like rambling on in a way where he really doesn't make sense. Take a look.
Like when Billie Eilish kind of first blew up, and I think being in the band, I'd always felt like we were like really young, we were just really young. I had a moment seeing her do this at such a young age where I felt like I'm not that young anymore. And for a while it was like, how do you like play that game of like remaining exciting? We've ran into each other like, you know, a couple of times, but I'm kind of like from afar incredibly thankful to her, because I feel like she felt like she represented something to me that, I don't know, it felt like came in a way that was like, you're not, like, don't worry about being this thing ever. Because, you know, she's like a lot younger than me, and there's no point in me going like, okay, how do I get back in? How do I like get back to like, she sort of broke the spell. Like, yeah, she totally broke the spell for me in a way that I'm like very grateful for. That, you know, is maybe weird because I've never told her that.
One person said, I have no idea what he's trying to say. Literally, what is Harry even trying to say? I was waiting for the one line that tied that all together, but I'm still incredibly confused. The other day, I was on this hike at Runyon. It's here in Los Angeles, and it's like, I've described it as like the cafeteria of LA because I feel like so many people just go there and you always see people there. And the other day, my boyfriend spotted Jenna Ortega, and I was kind of spooked out by her. She's got such an interesting presence. It was just her and her dog walking like quietly, and she definitely clocked that we recognized her, which made it even more uncomfortable. But this blind item is really concerning. It says that Jenna Ortega's boyfriend is problematic. It reads, the middle of the week actress is now trying to hide her serial abuser boyfriend, and his name is Elias. One person says, Jenna Ortega, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I hope she leaves quickly. One person said, in a body bag, wouldn't it be easier to find a boyfriend who isn't a POS? Let's talk about Elias, because there's a lot of people online who are concerned for Jenna's well-being after learning that she's dating him. Actually, on December 18th, she was filmed at the Copenhagen airport, and she was seen with her boyfriend, her suspected boyfriend, Elias. We actually have some footage that someone took at the airport. Take a look.
This is like... Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like that.
That footage is so awkward. All of like the airport noises and just everyone just waiting around. Ugh, I hate airports. But Elias, he is a musician. He's currently 33 years old, and Jenna Ortega is 23 years old, which has been a source of concern for some fans. They are consenting adults, so I can't really be mad at her dating someone 10 years older than she is, but it looks like they've been involved with each other since October, and there's other concerning things about Elias. So he's part of this like punk rock band, and it looks like he's a very like hardcore type of a guy. Actually, there is some criticism that stems from his early career around 2013, whenever his band faced some backlash over some imagery and lyrics that were used that were very like kind of like a Nazi-esque, I guess. People have actually spotted Jenna Ortega in a music video from Elias's band. It's titled Mona Lisa, and she was featured in it kissing him. Elias has also been accused of physically attacking his fans at his show, among them women, destroying their phones, kicking them in the chest. Elias also has several songs about drug usage and has faced allegations of a heavy lifestyle, especially on tour for the past 10 years. He's a chain smoker. One person says, that post about Elias breaking that person's phone reminded me of when I saw the band Ice Age, that's their name, a couple of months ago in Sydney. Elias kicked the girl next to me in the chest, and I thought he had kicked an amp or something, because you wouldn't kick a person that hard, but she was clutching her chest, crying so hard that she had to leave and didn't come back. I was really shocked. One person says that if you go to an Ice Age gig and you want to stand in the front row, you should be prepared to get kicked, hit, and spat on no matter what gender you are. If you don't like it, don't go stand at the front, I guess, which you'll never see me at an Ice Age show. It's a part of the show to be physically hurt while trying to have a good time, so if we want to be hit and spat on, we should be in the front row. Thanks for solving the issue. Why don't you stop making excuses for his crappy behavior? Someone wrote back. As far as the timeline goes, it actually looks like they've been involved with each other since May, at least like liking each other's posts on social media, but then really spotted together in October, September, around like the fall fashion time, and then December they've gotten serious. And if he's the type of guy to go and kick a woman in the chest, I don't care what kind of music you're performing, then I am really worried about Jenna.
With Ice Age, I have like a monster of a band. Yeah, sometimes you find yourself in the hands of like someone in Eastern Europe with a bunch of like promoters doing like at 9 in the morning before they have to drive you to like countryside. But like more than anything, like people are kind of sweet.
Our next blind item is about Charli XCX and her husband, George Daniel. It reads, everyone was whispering that the newly married foreign-born singer is pregnant. I really hope not, because her partying is out of control. This comment reads, I don't know, Charli's been pretty outspoken about not wanting kids for the time being. Someone said, Coke baby incoming. Wasn't there a blind saying that she was up the spout? Yeah, I remember reading that she was preggo just after she got married. Poor baby if it's true. Which kind of triggers me because it kind of reminds me of like Krishan Rock and what her baby has gone through with the fetal alcohol syndrome, and it's really sad. I wouldn't think that like Charli XCX would do that to not only her body, but like to the baby. I mean, I guess she's like, what, smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, so who knows? Charli was on a podcast recently and said that she loves the fantasy of having a child, like naming it sounds so fun, but I'm like, that is the exact sign to me as to why I should not have one. The fact that it feels like the coolest part of it is just like naming the baby. Jason Bateman was actually interviewing her, and one person wrote, incredibly rough to listen to. Jason was asking her how many kids she wants to have, bad enough, and she says, I don't think I want kids. And then he's like, well, maybe you just need to find the right guy. And she's like, well, I'm married. And then he's just silenced because, you know, all of his explanations have failed. Also, so weird that he's even like interviewing her when he doesn't know that she's married, because I feel like that's common knowledge. George Daniel is actually from the band The 1975. Remember, Taylor Swift dated the lead singer of that band at one point, which is why Charli and Taylor have their little feud. But Charli and George married in July 2025. They had a low-key wedding. It actually looked really beautiful and very Charli XCX vibes. Charli said in an article in 2024, am I less of a woman if I don't have a kid? well, I feel like I've missed out on my purpose in life. I know we're not supposed to say that, but it's this biological and social programming, she said. There's a lot of pressure on women to not talk about that stuff super openly, especially not in pop music or in music generally. We're supposed to be sexy and free and fun and wild.
The interaction between Charli XCX and Jason Bateman on the Smart List podcast is now going viral because it's just really strange. The topic of children came up and they were basically asking Charli if she wanted a kid, to which she said, I'm not having kids, I don't really want one. It seems like it'd be fun to name a kid, but it's just maybe not my thing. To which Jason said she might change her mind and then told an anecdote about how his current wife didn't want to have kids until they started going out together. Ending it by saying, you might find someone that will make you want to have kids. And obviously Charli is married to George Daniel, so she said, I'm married. And Jason said, I've got to read a newspaper one of these days. Your next husband, you'll want kids with him. It's really awkward. I'll play you the clip, but my biggest issue with this is like, if you're a podcast like Smart List, one of the biggest podcasts in the world, and you're not researching your guests, sorry, like, get off the air.
Like, okay, I think I can have a kid with this guy. So you might find somebody.
Well, I'm married, so.
There we go.
Yeah,
I gotta read a newspaper one of these days.
You know, it's okay. I knew immediately like when we were gonna go. I knew my response. I was really looking forward to it. So
maybe your next husband, you're gonna want kids.
But this is like so annoying. Like, I couldn't imagine what it would be like to be a famous person and go on a podcast to promote something and the hosts know nothing about you. And that I think is like the main sentiment of why it's going viral. People are like, this podcast is just not it. And they're not even researching their guests. Like, why are they topping the charts?
Sydney Sweeney is just so unbearable nowadays, and I'm not even mad at this blind item. It says that Scooter Braun has several girlfriends. Speaking of that label owner, I don't think he has told the actress girlfriend that she is just one of many, which is also weird to me because, like, who is out here trying to be like Scooter Braun's like side piece? One person said, I don't think that Sydney cares. Sydney has her pick of millions, and she picks him? Gross. If he's cheating on Sydney, she'll dump him. She doesn't need him. One person says that I think that Sydney is with him to get business advice and to get him to help promote her and get her brand deals. And even though these two try to do these planned paparazzi photo shoots, doing normal day-to-day tasks like going grocery shopping, I'm still not convinced that she's really that into him.
Let's do the age gap test to tell if Scooter Braun and Sydney Sweeney should be dating or if it's creepy. The age gap test is a test to figure out if two people have too much of an age gap to be dating each other. To do the age gap test, you divide the oldest person's age by 2, and then you add 7. So Scooter Braun is 44, and Sydney Sweeney is 28. And according to my math, that means it's creepy for them to be dating.
The last time that we saw Sydney and Scooter together, they were at an intimate dinner party with friends, including Usher last month in a TikTok video. Before that, they were skiing and jet skiing, not like drug skiing, actually, I don't know, allegedly, but they were in Florida in November, and of course, you know, they've just been, I mean, I feel like Sydney Sweeney's on a constant vacation. Maybe she needs to spend a little bit more time at these movie sets because the movies that she's coming out with are not doing well. But here's a clip of them together at this party.
Yo, how did you do that? Usher's in on it. Those glasses are not yours. That's crazy. What? That's crazy. That's crazy.
I cannot get over her high-pitched, like, laughing. It just sounds so phony. While we're talking about Sydney Sweeney and her brands and Scooter Braun, this blind item reads that the literate actress is not facing any criminal charges. It is just to get people talking about her lingerie line. The fact that she went to the Hollywood sign and pretty much, like, assaulted the H with her cheap bras. This comment reads that there has to be a better way to promote your lingerie line. That was just pathetic. Sydney Sweeney and her new lingerie line, Sarin, it may be a desperate move, but it makes sense, honestly. She's known for having a great body. I'm not a fan, but whatever works, I guess. One person said that she's so effing unrelatable. God, she pisses me off. That was the worst stunt I've ever heard of. Who thought of that, Scooter? Well, whoever thought of it, I guess it was a great idea because Sydney Sweeney's bra line, her lingerie line, ended up selling out immediately. So I don't know if the clip of her doing this, like, going to the Hollywood sign really is the reason why people had bought it, but maybe it just helped like put the lingerie like top of mind so people were ready to go and purchase it because I didn't know that she was in such demand.
And yet again, I have to ask, who is she doing this for? Who is the target customer? Is Sydney Sweeney hot in lingerie? Duh. But who is supposed to buy lingerie? Either women, but women are currently not her biggest fans because of all the weird shit she's been kind of doing lately. I personally, if I now wanted to buy new lingerie, I would go to like Victoria's Secret or something. Unless I was a huge Sydney Sweeney fan. I don't know if there are many huge Sydney Sweeney fans, female ones, at the moment. Maybe the idea is for the men to buy the stuff for their girlfriends, wives, whatever. All of this again leads me to believe that just like with the American Eagle ad, this is for the stock market. I don't know if they're already on the stock market. I don't know how fast these things work, but who predominantly buys stock? Men. So then if men invest in stock for Siren, she would make that money.
It is a long shot. In my mind, I can't see it happening. That being said, the people of the permanent A-list singer are in discussions for a one-off show in Brazil. Apparently, the singer hasn't flat out said no yet, which is about Britney Spears possibly performing again, which I cannot even imagine happening this year. I mean, she was in a conservatorship for like over a decade. I feel like we need maybe like a decade of healing for her to get back. I feel like trying to rush the process mixed with the Instagram posts aren't doing us any good. I've always felt horrible for Britney. She was such a bubbly force to be reckoned with back in the day. To see her now is heartbreaking. She would make serious cash even if she lip syncs and dances poorly. I mean, serious cash. Can she though? I mean, after seeing Justin Bieber perform at the Grammys recently, I feel like he was out of his mind, yet he still did really well. We will talk about that next, but Britney Spears is trending right now because of this talk of her performing in Rio, Brazil, which I have never been to Brazil, but this would be my first time. I would have to go and see this. But Britney Spears recently has been sharing about how she really did not like touring in the past, how she did not like her residency, how she felt forced. So I feel like the idea of performing again, it's just a little bit too soon. But at the same time, there's people like Madonna and Lady Gaga. They've done these big shows in Brazil that do numbers. So I could also see her at the same time maybe doing a one-off because she wouldn't be tied down to doing it over and over again.
Who started the Britney Spears Copacabana rumor? Because everybody's talking about it. It is all over the internet today. People are saying that Britney Spears is going to be performing at Copacabana. She's going to have a huge comeback, and ultimately this is going to be one of the biggest Copacabana performances of all time if it happens. But I'm going to burst your bubble. Do you actually think that Britney Jean Spears, who has not been on stage in how long, is going to come back on the Copacabana stage? Do you realize from a nervous system level, from a human level, if she were to step on that stage, there's no way, and I say that with the utmost respect, love, and admiration for her. She's literally my favorite singer of all time, but ultimately, I just think from a human level, there's no way that she would do that. I really think she is done with us. Yes, on her Instagram, she was BSing a couple weeks ago saying that she's going to perform overseas. I just think that she is done with the public eye, and it's time for people to respect that.
This is about Justin Bieber at the Grammys. The north of the border singer was out of his mind wasted. People were worried about him. The thing that gets me is that Justin seemed completely disenchanted and low energy at the Grammys, especially when he performed. And then Haley acts all Hollywood Stepford wife, flashing hand signals while looking straight at the camera. I get that she's proud of him, and we all see his social media acting strung out, liking old crap and referencing Selena Gomez, simultaneously disrespecting Haley, all while he looks like he came from the streets of Kensington. So I don't know. It was just effing weird. Shout out to Susie for that comment. She really analyzed that performance. One person noted that Justin looked very uptight before he went onto stage. His performance, however, was fire. Sadly, Justin was better dressed going shirtless than some of the others. Maybe Britney Spears would still have it in her. I mean, I feel like Britney's a performer the same way Justin is, and Justin only spent about like 15 minutes rehearsing for his performance. He is allowed it, like they give him like 90 minutes to rehearse for all the stars to rehearse, but he only spent a little bit of it because he didn't need to. The particularly unfortunate is just how sad he looks on the red carpet. He looks so miserable. And if you look at pictures of him from the Grammys in the past versus now, you could just really see that like in his eyes, like Hollywood has really done him dirty. They really have like stripped him of the innocence, the spark. He looks dead in his eyes, and it makes my heart break for Justin.
Hey.
It honestly seems like Haley is trying to hold everything together, but he's just completely drained.
Justin Bieber, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Bieber is back in the house. Huh? Look at this. Over the last few years, this young man has done so many amazing things. Are you kidding me? His album Swag nominated 4 Grammy nominations. And I think better than any Grammy, he's come back as a new dad. Congratulations to both of you. Yes, that's right, yeah. My personal favorite thing that Justin Bieber has done over the past year is he told Apple to move the dictation button on the keyboard. Hero, Justin. Now I just need you to tell him to make a new feature where when you search on your phone, it finds things. Please, Justin, we need you. And by the way, Haley, do you have a discount code for the lip tint? I just need, you know what, it's fine. We'll talk later.
This blind item is about Northwest. Just the things that this tween was exposed to this past weekend should have the A-list parent calling the cops, but they won't. This comment reads, with either parental unit, North is doomed. Both parents are simply trash with lots of cash. One person writes that this won't end well. You can dislike Kim and Kanye, but those kids are innocent, and they have none or very little normal adults around, and I wouldn't wish that on any child. One person said, why am I not surprised? I do wonder the things that North is exposed to, especially with her father's condition. She recently performed with him in Mexico. Only 12 years old, and you could see Kanye and North on stage, and it seems like he's trying to leverage her mainstreamness. I can't believe I'm saying that because she's 12 years old, but to get him back into the mainstream and to get people talking, he's trying to use the innocence of North to kind of ride her back on getting popular again. North wasn't on stage the entire time. There is actually some footage of her on the sidelines with Bianca, so it seems like Bianca is assuming the stepmother role. But it's kind of crazy to me that Kanye is putting his daughter out like this, trying to get her to make music and to get into this industry that he says is so evil and dark. I mean, at one point he referred to her as his enemy. So I feel like it's pretty unfortunate that he's setting her up for failure. Even having the social media, it's something that he was so against when he was more of a sound mind. But nowadays he's encouraging her social media use, which I think is completely inappropriate for a 12-year-old.
Northwest just joined her father, Ye, on stage at his concert in Mexico. North was able to perform her new song, Piercing on My Hand, for the very first time. And I can't get over this because I am just reminiscing that this Northwest is the same as that Northwest. What are those? She has been a performer since birth. And I just love that we are getting to experience the entire growth from Northwest and the evolution. I mean, North now is officially on social media. Her comments are open. And here she is getting to perform with her dad on stage. Not only performing her song, she performed her iconic feature, It's Your Bestie, Mrs. Westie. The crowd going crazy with the guy. That clip was posted by Danny, who has worked with Kim Kardashian as her stylist. And she also posted the BTS of Northwest's outfit and some custom jewelry pieces. So it looks like Danny is working with North. And I am just so excited for Northwest because clearly she's in the studio, she's creating beats, and obviously she's teased new music. And I can't wait to see what the future has for North. But honey, Sold Out Arenas is on that list. Oh,
Speaking of Kanye's household, it looks like the wife of the permanent A-list rapper controls his entire life now. And it looks like Bianca has power of attorney over everything, which at this point, I don't even know if I would want that because I don't know if he has much of an estate left. One person said that this is a good thing. Smart woman. Whatever's left of it, she earned it. According to page 6, Bianca's unhappy and she's repeatedly tried to get out of her relationship with Kanye West. She's had enough, the source said, over his his obsession with these symbols and his rants on social media. The source claims that Bianca doesn't want any part of that circus. Kanye saying that Bianca's just mad at him, but right now she's told him that she's completely done. By the end of the month, the on and off again couple had decided to make their marriage work again, as they weren't ready to give up on each other quite yet. In Kanye's song Bianca that he released in April 2025, he reads, "She's having a panic attack. She's not liking the way that I tweeted. Until Bianca's back, I stay up all night. I'm not going to sleep. I really don't know where she's at." He sounds scary. He says, "I'm tracking my B word through an app. I'm tracking my B word through the city. She hopped in the car and she ran. My B word just don't understand. Sometimes it just feels like it's planned." Maybe Bianca is his handler. If she is, she's a pretty bad one because he's been out of control. But Bianca's been doing her own thing. She had her performance where she had a bunch of clones of herself. It was a live performance she did in Korea. There was also a recent post going viral of her drumming on to this drum device. Maybe she's trying to get into some music. What do you think of Bianca's musical skills? What did you guys think of Bianca's song, the do 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 Very simple. But let's end with a positive blind item. This one's about Lola Young. This messy singer was probably the nicest to fans that she encountered. Not just photos, but also taking the time to talk to each one, which we love Lola Young over here on this channel. And I'll never forget seeing her at Coachella and watching her throw up on stage because it was so damn hot outside. One person asked, was this Lola's first public appearance since collapsing on stage and announcing that she was going away for a while? She really is the real deal, raw and unfiltered with an actual talent. She performed so well and seemed really grateful to be there. I loved it. And even though she was really nervous, she walked away a winner, which I do feel like it is deserved. Lola Young has been really great and a force to be reckoned with her song Messy. So it was refreshing to see that Lola was in such a good mood at like interacting with the fans. Winning a Grammy is such a huge deal because she just was like a year or two ago, she was just a TikToker, just making music in her room, and now she's a big star. And I'm glad that she took the time to like go and step away whenever she was feeling mentally unwell. I remember she collapsed on stage and people were really concerned. But since the Grammys, she's back. Lola says that she's back. She's better than ever. She's happy to be back. She's taken the time. And after winning this award, it seems like she can really just go anywhere. She also took, I feel like, a great amount of time off, like a couple months to where like she disappeared a bit, but like enough to go and, still stay like relevant. Like she's still at the Grammys performing and she did really well. And she looked so happy in her acceptance speech.
I don't know what I'm going to say because I don't have any speech prepared. Obviously I don't, it's messy, do you know what I mean? I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. Obviously you can tell sorry, my face that I'm very, very grateful for this. Nick, we did it, Mom, I love you everybody.
Now, Lola needs to be careful because she did not thank Beyonce. One person pointed that out, which maybe the time of like thanking Beyonce is over, especially if like Jay-Z is going down the drain. A lot of people felt like last year, like he kind of like bought her the Grammy that she had earned, which I'm not going to say that because I feel like she did earn her Grammy and she's really good at music. You can't deny that. So hopefully she leaves him sometime soon because being associated with him is not a good look. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Blind Item Breakdown. Please go and like us on Spotify if you haven't. The episode is also there. Give us a rating. And I'm also on Snapchat. If you look up, I think it's Pop Culture Daily or Sloan_GE. You could find me on there. But I hope to see you guys soon. Bye, guys.